Okay, so I think this is our third or fourth meeting I think we've had now. And really what I wanted to do this morning was speak a little bit about meditation and self-inquiry. So where meditation and self-inquiry come together. So for me, there are two stages in the meditation. And the first stage is to do what we've been doing up until now, which is to kind of bring everything into the stillness. So to bring the feelings, the emotions, the sensations, to allow the thoughts, to allow everything that's going on, to just allow it all to be held within a kind of field of stillness. And so that everything begins to just settle down inside you. And you become much more able to just be present with yourself and just begin to sense the underlying ground of peace and the underlying ground of silence that is present when we're not identifying with the moving parts. And this is so important. This is so important because to do self-inquiry without a ground of stillness, without a stable ground of silence in you, then there is a tendency for inquiry to become very mental. And people can think about it too much and try to understand it too much. But really, I have to speak a little bit about inquiry. Otherwise, we may become better meditators. We may become better spiritual practitioners. But ultimately, we will not be liberated from the very thing that is causing us so much trouble. And the thing that is causing us so much trouble is the false sense of I, the egoic I. The I which seems to have kind of taken over the entire world, and that people are so convinced about who and what they are that they never question that, never challenge that. And inquiry is to very much look into the sense of who we are. It's very much to ask the question, who or what am I? And can I begin to look into the core of my identity to see if that identity is the ultimate reality? It is a reality, but is it the ultimate reality? And in fact, what happens when I'm able to let go of that false I? What happens when I'm able to surrender that false I? Or simply just be able to witness that false I? What is it in me that is doing that? And is it possible for me to be in that position in myself? Is it possible for me to let go of everything that I'm not and simply be one with that which is here by itself? So for me, inquiry is at the very heart of this spiritual approach. And I would like to, in this morning's meditation, I would like to begin to bring that into our conversation and into our meetings, so we can just begin to openly look at that. But if you feel like it makes you mental, or you go into some kind of headspace with it, then again, just come back to the stillness meditation. And in fact, what I will be sharing really is a mixture of these in this morning's meeting. Okay. So let us just then begin with meditation this morning. And so just find yourself again in any comfortable position where you can sit still for about 25 minutes or so. And especially somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed. And if you want to have your eyes open or your eyes closed, it's completely up to you. Whatever feels most comfortable for you. And just naturally begin to bring the attention inwards. So you're turning away from the external world and you're beginning to bring the attention inwards. And if you notice that the mind is busy or active, then to the best of your ability, just see if you can leave that part of yourself alone. You are not your mind. So whatever the mind is doing, just turn away from it. It is not needed right now. You can pick it up again afterwards if you wish, but right now just leave the mind alone. and begin to come more into the body. And just sensing what is present and alive for you inside the body. And if there is sensitivity or vulnerability there, just allowing it to be there as it is. So that you're not trying to control your internal environment in any way. You're letting go of the sense of control. And as you allow everything to be as it is, without grasping at any movement in consciousness, and without trying to control anything, what begins to reveal itself is this natural sense of presence. This underlying field of silent stillness. That stillness that doesn't require you to keep it or hold on to it. It is simply here by itself. It's almost like you're falling back into it. And as you fall back into it, your sense of self dissolves inside it. So there is not you and the stillness, you and the silence, but there is just the silence. There is just the stillness. And as you get a sense of what it feels like to be empty of identity, to be empty of the personal I, and as we let go of the familiar sense of self, fear, even fear may arise, letting go of a familiar identity. But don't identify with that. You are coming back into the fullness of yourself. And you're beginning to see that it is absolutely possible to be at peace. And that peace is our natural state when we're not identified with the separate personal self. And so like this, we remain empty. We rest inside our own emptiness. so that we come to that place inside ourselves where we are naturally awake, we're naturally alert, but we are not thinking. We have gone beyond thought. We've come to that place which we cannot speak about, yet we can only know. We can only know it to be our truest place. And so we will rest together like this for the last part of the meditation. And I'm just inviting you to just see what happens when you let go of everything that you're not. What remains here by itself. what cannot be practiced, what is already perfect. Who are you when you let go of all ideas about yourself? So in a couple of moments, there will be a bell, and the bell will bring the meditation to an end. And then I'll just invite you just to come out of the meditation in your own time after the bell. So as you come out of the meditation now, just see if you can catch the tendency to immediately pick up the identity again. And just see if you can kind of not pick up that temptation. Sometimes my own teacher, he says, the most simple practice, the most direct practice is to remain empty of I. Almost like if you don't pick up I, if you remain empty of I, then something inside you is naturally at peace. But the moment you pick up the I thought, the moment you identify with the I thought, then everything else comes with it. Past, history, conditioning, ideas, projections, everything comes with it. But if you don't pick up the I thought, if you remain empty of I, then there's simply just a kind of emptiness here. Yet that emptiness is full of peace, it's full of love, full of kindness. You may even come to the point inside yourself where you begin to sense that even in meditation or out of meditation, if I don't pick up I'm kind of in a meditative space all the time. Our whole life becomes a meditation, but we're not a meditator. We're simply empty. Did anybody experience this sense of being completely empty during the meditation? Yeah, show me if you felt that. Don't be shy about it. Yeah. Did anyone experience feeling completely full during the meditation? Yeah. This is why I say the meditation has two parts, and we can't skip over the first part. So the first part is really meeting ourselves, really bringing everything into the field of stillness, holding the inner child, overcoming the mind, accepting and letting go of control. All of these things are like the first part of the meditation. They give us the ground through which we can begin to inquire. But you may come to a certain point in your spiritual evolution where just the reminder to just remain empty, and that is enough for you. just to be as you are, is enough for you. And I've said also many times to you that the journey from the personal I to the self, the bridge between these two is presence. Is presence. And the more you're able to stay as presence, then the less you're identified with the separate egoic I. So would anybody like to share anything before we bring this meeting to an end this morning? Very nice. Very nice. Just before we finish today, this morning I received the news that one of my very close friends passed away overnight. And he had been ill for a period of time, had cancer. But it just reminded me this morning again of this opportunity we have whilst we're here to find that inside us which cannot die. It cannot die. Our true self, our true nature, it cannot die. The body will die. But I am encouraging all of you to use the time we have to see if we can truly find that inside us, which is timeless. And for me, that is the best use of our time. It's the best use of this life. It doesn't mean we can't engage in the activities we enjoy. It doesn't mean we can't do whatever we want to do. But is it possible that we find out who we are before our life comes to an end? Is it possible that we come to this recognition and then we live life from that place, our true place? And you will come to see that the discovery of the self and the living of and as the self is the most beautiful thing, not just for you, but for everybody else as well. Because you become one human being who is not polluting the world with so much ideas, and you're simply, you're like nature, you're like space. You simply are as you are. And others will feel that energetically. Others will resonate with that energetically. And especially those who have the same calling inside themselves. They will know you not just from your words, but they will know you from your silence. They will know you from the energy of being that you resonate. Then if words come, if communication comes, it will be secondary to the truth of who we are. And I want to continue to encourage you, continue to remind you that your calling for self-realization, your calling to come to a place of clarity and peace is the most important thing that we can do for everybody, including ourselves. It is not selfish. It is selfless. And beings have met like this since the beginning of time to really look into this subject, look into their identity, and see if they can just come to this place of pure clarity beyond all doubt, beyond all misunderstanding. Just simply come to rest as the self. So I'm going to bring the meeting to an end. I'm going to switch off my mic in a moment. And then for those who wish just to sit together in silence for a little bit longer until you feel to leave, then you're fully welcome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining me this morning. And wish you all a good weekend and look forward to seeing everybody on Wednesday evening.